Hi there, it's Kevin here, and I'm just now going to give you a demonstration about how you use the iPhone app to connect to the BlowPro. So you notice that when you install the app, it'll end up on one of your screens there. So of course, like any other app, what you want to do, you just want to tap on it, and the app is going to come up. It gives a space. There's space on there for your name and your email address. Now I've pre-filled that. And they are initially undefined, and so the reason we capture the name and your email address is so that should you want to record a session and then email the results to yourself, then we have an email address and a name for you. But that is optional, putting in name and email address. The other option you see on the screen is this measurement unit, and that, as a choice, metric is the default. But if you're in the United States or another country uses imperial measurements, you can switch that. Just on the little chooser there, you can switch it to US and imperial. But we'll leave it for metric, as now we're recording in Canada and we use metric system here. There's also some documentation on the screen, just like a mini manual that says Introduction to BlowPro, and there you can get a rundown, the basics, the meter display, the graph display that we're going to show you, and deviation, samples per second, and the zoom. The zoom allows you to take the display, whether it's the graph or the deviation bars, and zoom in on those so you can see you're playing with a little bit more accuracy. So anyway, you're finished with reading the documentation, just click on BlowPro in the top left, take you back. And the main thing you want to do device scan. Device scan will start scanning for BlowPro devices. Now we have none in range. It's not on camera, but I'm going to turn the BlowPro device on, and we see, oh, now it's showing up. Each one has a unique ID, and this one is 4CA3, and so you may want to make a note of what your BlowPro ID is. Just if you're playing in a band situation, you can also give your unit a name. I've called this one Unit 112. So the device has been found. The way you connect to it is you then select that in the table of devices that comes up. It gives you some device information. Here's where on this page at the top, you can give it the local name, call it whatever you want. It also gives you a hardware ID and a serial number for the device. It also tells you signal strength. Anyway, then as soon as you're ready, you click Connect, and this brings up the bagpipe data stream display. What you'll notice down here is that there's bag pressure and deviation. On the right-hand side, it says 1 sample per second. By default, the BlowPro takes 1 reading per second and sends it via Bluetooth from your pipes to the app. That is probably too low. Some people like it, but if you want to increase that, and I would recommend 4 samples a second, 8 samples per second. Go to sampling rate down here. We have plus and minus, and just we'll click on the plus here, and notice on the top, it's the top of the blue window, it's going to 4. We can put it up to 8 samples per second. And so now we have more readings. You can see now we'll use the zoom control, separate the bars a little bit. What we're seeing here is we're seeing the current reading, which is in green, and the deviation bars. The goal when you're playing is to keep the green bar between the 2 purple bars. As you play with more accuracy, the purple bars will get closer and closer and closer, and that means that your blowing is consistent. What we're seeing now, you notice that we're seeing erratic activity. The erratic activity is because we aren't playing the pipes. Right, the BlowPro is just sitting on the table here beside me, and it's reading ambient pressure from the atmosphere. So that just random variations in the pressure. We'll get back to that later when Alistair gives a demo. The other fields on this, we have bag pressure in hectopascals. We have average bag. We have deviation. This is a numeric equivalent to what you're seeing on the deviation bars, as well as bag temperature. And down at the bottom it says you can record a session. You can review the session later. Won't worry about that for now. So now, looking back up at the top of that screen, it says bagpipe data screen. Notice it has meter. That's what we're seeing now. We can go to graph, right? And then if the bars or the graph are ever out of view, just give a little tap on the screen, and they will center again automatically. Now we're seeing the red line is the pressure over time, and as we zoom, notice we're zooming in. We get more accuracy on that reading. Probably leave it about halfway. Samples per second is also indicated. So that's the purpose of the graph display. The other, in the top bar there, we have reset. You can reset the BlowPro back to initial devices. You can get status, what is the battery voltage, that kind of thing. And the about screen will tell you a little bit about the software version, that kind of thing for that. So anyway, that'll end this session, and we'll move on now. Give some more demonstrations about how to use the BlowPro or the BlowPro in use, and Alistair's going to play his pipes. Thank you.